Real estate professionals are in a unique position to solve problems that invariably arise in a real estate transaction, from minor speed bumps to full-on concrete walls. Like it or not, the chances are good something will come up on the way to closing. I'm Erik Korzilius, an attorney and real estate professional with Sterling Crest Realty in Venice. Let's take 5 minutes to talk about how you can be a real estate problem solver. The way you handle obstacles can be the difference between earning a commission and a deal that leaves everyone involved unhappy. Putting on your problem solver cap isn't as simple as grabbing for a checklist with helpful bullet points. Real estate is usually the biggest investment people will make in their lifetime, so it's no surprise that when an issue arises, the magnitude of the transaction may serve to equally magnify their response. Irrational or otherwise, in many instances, we go back to the sandbox and argue about who gets the shovel and who gets the pail. A good guide as to which method to employ is to remember what it took to get the contract signed in the first place. Those creative techniques will be equally valuable in negotiating through any problems. First and foremost, know your limitations. There are some problems that need expert legal advice from the get-go. Don't be afraid to say, "I don't know," or you need to talk to a lawyer who specializes in this. Whether I'm wearing my attorney hat or my broker hat, being able to say "I don't know" is not a weakness, but a strength. A customer will respect you for telling them that they need to find a more expert opinion if one is required. And in the business world in which we practice, it also provides us with a shield from giving bad advice. One thing for sure is that ignoring the problem will almost never solve it. In fact, in most instances, dealing with a problem up front when the pressure to close is off allows a person to make an informed, rational decision rather than a knee-jerk emotional response. As they say, there are some things that cannot be unsaid, and when the pressure is on, people can say and do things that make a situation impossible to resolve thereafter. In addition, waiting to settle the problem at the closing table is a surefire way to have one or both agents take a hit on his or her commission in order to reach that settlement. As much as it may appear to be all about you, never make it all about you. The voice of reason is never heard from the bottom of the well, but from the person above with the rope. If you get down into the hole with your customer, you lose your best asset, which is your ability to remain objective on the subject. Knowing your customer is always key. If a person just wants the facts, an emotional appeal is probably wasted if not counterproductive. If they want you to bottom line it for them, it may be as simple as there's a $500 repair and a 50-50 split gets the deal done. This, of course, is in opposition to those customers who make everything personal or all about principle. Then you may find that you have not one, but two unreasonable voices in the fray. This is when you have your broker step in and speak to the other broker. Brokers remain isolated from the parties, unlike their agents who are right there in the thick of the issue. The brokers can be the cooler heads that prevail. Lastly, solving a problem is less about being right and more about finding the common ground the parties need to resolve their issue. One important point to consider is that most people are more likely to accept a solution if they are informed and involved in the process, rather than simply being told what to do. This is why mediation results in so many agreements where the parties contribute to the solution rather than have someone else tell them how it's going to be done. It's your job to get them to this middle ground. Make suggestions, offer appropriate advice, but never tell them what to do. Being a problem solver is all about paying attention to the personalities involved in the transaction and helping them find a solution that feels good. So take your emotions out of it. Listen closely. Get to know your customer and address problems early. Now, let's get to the closing table.